Hey Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to PCM24 Yeti episode number 36. We're at a not important race, and it's actually already finishing up here, but a 2.2 race in Costa Rica, 10 stages. Started on the back foot, but Edvin Haglund, without any stage victories along the way, but just some consistency, top fives, pretty much every stage, not losing time pretty much every stage, and bit by bit others slipped away, and we saw him go from just getting into the top 10 to getting into the top 6 to getting into the top 5 to onto the podium to surpassing both Cepeda and Quinn in the last couple of stages to take overall victory without a stage victory. So Edvin Haglund gets his first career win, and of course Haglund is the one we have the long-term hope of being a big-time GC contender. Tour of Norway is a big objective for us. Top 10 overall is what we are looking for. So it's a little different than what we've been working on for a while. I'd like to get a stage win, but realistically we're going to focus primarily on getting that top 10. I really like to get a better financial package out of sponsors for next year. I've also got my deadline already coming. Not done well with this one. I've already got my deadline coming in for re-signing with Yeti as a sponsor. We might be moving on from our current sponsor. All that'll mean is a new jersey appearance, realistically. So we are very likely taking on a different option here as soon as possible. But this one is a prologue / time trial. It's a little longer for a prologue, but it's way too short for a time trial. Anyway, we have just 2.5K left to go here for Zippinati, who's a decent climber as far as our team goes anyway, but terrible time trialist, so he's really not going to have turned in much of a great time on this one. The initial plan is to start at an 85. Looks like an 88's a little hard. You're not going to quite make it all the way, so we'll try an 87 on Shui when Shui comes along, but save that extra push, that go hard for the climb as opposed to the time trial. And yeah, the 88 was definitely a step too hard. Fourth so far, fourth out of 4. Definitely off the pace. All right, so with Shui, a little more balanced, better time trialist, but terrible prologuer, and this is mostly prologue. A little bit weaker climber. Decent race day condition. Well, fitness bonus, he's a 0 on the race day condition. But here is that strategy. Roll that 85, get that steady tempo, maybe lose a few seconds out of it, but save that extra oomph for the climb where you can gain more out of it. Now we try at an 87, where the 88 was a little too hard. We want a consistent climb if possible. Even the 87 looks like you might have to back off at some point, but I like the idea of going at least for a while. 85 right at the end, but I think the 87 can work for the most part. The 86 might not be hard enough, but we'll give that a shot with Wang and see what happens on the 86. That's 11th overall from Shui. Much better with a poor prologuer. Alright, onto the climb, trying in the 86 to see if that's hard enough or whether we will be able to mix that 87 with the 86. Wang, much better prologuer, 73. Just not a great climber. Okay as a climber. Final kilometer. And 86 definitely is not hard enough. But attacking to the finish line. 26th, minute 16 down. A little bit behind Shui when we probably should have finished ahead of Shui. So, yes, the 87 and then backing off when necessary is definitely going to be the way to go on the climb. And here comes the big test because it's Haglund. Haglund not only is our leader because he's the one who can time trial, and as it turns out, he is a strong prologuer, much stronger than his time trial rating. So that's excellent for us. He's a 76 base Prologue, which is the majority of the rating today. He's got a +9 on. He's got an 85 Prologue right now. He's going to be absolutely flying. He's also got a mountain rating today of a 78. This should, without a doubt, be one of the best times of the day. Looking at the current standings, I would think he's got to be top 3. He's got to be top 3 minimum on this. There's many more riders to come, and I don't expect that he's going to win this stage or anything. There's guys with 80 mountain ratings at this race. It's not going to be an easy on the overall, but I think without a doubt this should be a top 10 today. All right, here we go, Haglund. So it's not only that he's a good climber, he's got that best time trial rating. Also, he is on a fitness peak, and this is an objective for him. He's at a +5. That fitness peak triggered a little early, and that other race that he just won, that first victory of his career, came just a few days ago. And he had already just hit the fitness peak in the middle of that race, so he's a couple days into it. Ooh, we want 87, not 88. Look at that, overtaking Holstad. We are definitely in for a good time here. 2K left. Rodriguez, Haglund, you're seeing some of the names written in chalk on the road are the key ones there. Let's back off to the 86 now. Final kilometer. We're catching the next rider. Up towards the finish, back to the 87. 99. Into the lead by 5 seconds. I knew I needed to be with those top 2. For now, that's the best. It's probably not going to hold as the best time today, but that's a fantastic start. Abdullah and Panamar still to go for us. Abdullah, not his strength at all. Only a decent climber and definitely not a prologuer. So not much to expect out of his time here. Into the final kilometer though. And he's going to reach the finish up in it and a half down. So we are on to team leaders. Panamar has a +3 for us. The game thinks he's our team leader. I do not. I disagree. He's a little bit weaker as a climber. He's just punchier, but he's much weaker as a prologuer. But today, 72 in that department, 75 in the mountain, is going to lead to a pretty good overall time. He'll be competitive. He'll be a secondary leader for us. Right now, Haglund is still holding at the top of the standings, but at 121, there's still quite a few riders to go after us. And Panamar, good balance. 5th place, just 22 seconds down. So a really good time from the pair. Molinar, minute 48. All those leaders now. Diesel, 77th. Kogut, 35th. Here's Lentz. He shouldn't threaten, though a strong climber. 64th. Ooh, there one came in. Was that Hagens? Yeah, Hagens came in 4th place. Here's Bovin. Good prologuer, but not a great climber. Minute down. Carr. 45 seconds down. Here's Tishmanut. 21st. Haglund takes the lead. Takes the lead. Last 2 riders now. Max Poole, 5th, 28 seconds down. Carlos Rodriguez, the favorite, 39 seconds down. Haglund gets 2nd place on the stage. Nearly pulls a victory for us, and that would have been the final pro win that we needed. Just 14 seconds shy of it, and Haglund in a great position for a potential top 10 in the overall at this stage. Panamar, by the way, only dropped a couple more spots. He ends up 8th himself, so both riders in a very good position right now, and we've got an expected +5 daily for Haglund that really should help us out in this to stay competitive. Stage 2 is a mountain stage, beginning the stage with the mountain. Fortunately, it didn't take too long for the breakaway to establish itself. There are 5 riders, but there are some names in there. Toynes, Yeah. Okay, nothing too worrying actually about that group. But this first climb of the day luckily comes on the back of, you know, a breakaway being away and us being able to sit on and let them go out a little bit. But only a little. It's only a 120k stage, so it's a very short stage. First 20k are about to be behind us as we go to the top of that first climb with a 4-minute gap to the front. But we're going to, after this descent, immediately go into another climb. And another fairly long one. Not quite as severe as the first. Still fairly early in the stage, but you never know when the peloton's going to decide to start chasing that down. And we just lost Shui, and it split the field big time. Shui does get rolling again, fortunately. He was protecting Ponamar. Ponamar's going to have to go on his own. He's got a -2 today, by the way, but he's in the top 8, so I figured I'd leave him be. There is a third climb later on, and the finish is on a slight uphill. Field almost back together. There we go. That's Shui. Back into the field, and 83k to go. It's not yet time to get water, so I guess I'll just bring him back on up and go back to protecting Ponamar. Everything's okay for the time being. First section of the climb, not too bad. Second section of the climb is definitely the one that's more severe, and we're on that right now. Not yet done climbing, but that's the steepest of it. It's leveling off a lot from here, and so far so good on the stage. Coming up on that last categorized climb of the day, just 4 kilometers this time. 7.4% though means it's not easy, and here comes that big acceleration. I did up us from a 78 to an 80, but we are dropping back pretty quickly. I think we're going to need to at least put those mountain ratings to use and get to that 85 level. Yeah, Panamar's just... Front group is just a minute and a half away, and they actually lost their first rider, now second rider out of the group. And we will now recover our position. Looks like that finish, while slightly uphill, is not, and I repeat, not an uphill finish. It is just false flat. It's just slight gradient, so it will come down to a sprint from here. So our plan on the sprint here is don't lose time. We don't have sprinters at this race, but what we are going to try to do is at least make sure that the breakaway is not claiming any victories today. So that's the first and foremost. I don't want anybody to actually get dropped out of the group. Haglund is in the sprinter's position, but Haglund is not the sprinter. Haglund is 63-62 today. Ponamar is going to be the sprinter. He's a 67-73, so he's got a slight chance. Got one rider, Tiller, kind of on the attack, and we're going 99, and he's just flying past us. Such is our capability. Let's move on to Shui. Let's get those last gels. 2.4k. Shui, come on, you're sprinting. You're supposed to be sprinting already. Abdullah. That guy's gonna get it? No, he's not. There we go. We caught him. And Haglund, 500 meters. That slight uphill. Ponamar. Haglund? Haglund's gonna win? What? What just happened? We just swept the podium. Haglund, Shui, Ponamar, both of them gaining time. Haglund's going to be in the overall race lead right now. This is the mountain stage. There's 84 riders left, so, you know, there's a handful of riders on the back. Likely it's the sprinters. It's not a sprint race, so there probably wasn't quality sprinters here to begin with. That all increases the chances of doing something. But how the hell did we just pull that off? Okay, folks, we're going to spin. It's Baltics. We already know that. And there is our winner, the Baltics! Duh. Early enough in the signing period that I will definitely look into the 2 nations that we just snowballed in, of Lithuania and Estonia. Each are Pop 3 nations, of course, But Lithuania is a 3-1, and Estonia is a 3-3 nation. So there's very likely some quality in that pool. But with that, there is no snowballing left that could possibly happen this season. We do not have anything beyond a pro race. We're not eligible for anything beyond a pro race until we reach Continental Pro. Pop 4 and above involves World Tour victories. The pro race is the Continental Pro level. It's the tier that we're not even in, that we've been winning and completed before ever making it into that level as a team. What has to happen now is we have to reach Continental Pro, then apply to World Tour races, which we won't get into because we don't have the reputation, though our sponsor should secure us 3 to 4 World Tour races. First season outside of sponsor objectives, that's going to be it. It's just those handful of World Tour races, but we still got to make Continental Pro before we can even achieve that. Now, the other thing that we could do at that time is make sure that we are one of the highest ranked Continental Pro teams, because the top 3, or specifically the top 2 Continental Pro teams, get first dibs on World Tour races, meaning they are very likely to get into any race that they apply for. So achieving a high ranking in Continental Pro would actually be the real objective of the first year. So the long-term objective of this season, well, can now be summed up into just 2 parts. Sponsor objectives, so we can get more money to sign better riders, and sign better riders. Get into Continental Pro. Get those 4.5-star guys. We've got 4 4-star guys right now. We need to get at least 1 to 2 4.5-star guys to have a chance to break into Continental Pro. Short-term task, we're in the lead right now. We want to secure that top 10, make the sponsors happy for this race. Wow, it wasn't just a 1, 2, 3 finish. It was also 6th, 9th, and 10th. Was there any field split, though? No field split. No advantage, just 84 riders at the top. A whole team going back, presumably to try to recover the losses of somebody who crashed or got dropped, to try to bring them back. They never made it back. So in the general Haglund, the deficit was that much that 10 seconds didn't get us up there. It was 14. We do not lead this race. It's not a terrible thing, by the way. Being second means there's no pressure on us. The pressure is still on Bora Hansgrohe, or Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe now, but they also are third on the podium. Ponemar is up to 6th. His 4-second bonus did get him above 2 guys that he was 1 second behind, now 3 seconds ahead of. Definitely good for the overall to have both of them up there. More work to do, though, if we are to win the overall, but that's not really what I came for. Top 10 is just fine. Well, top 5 is kind of where we're aiming, because the sponsors will be really happy with that. A podium they'll be absolutely over the moon with, as will I, but if we can snatch that win, we'll go for it. I haven't thought about what the other stages bring in this one. Stage 3 has one difficult portion, and it wouldn't be that difficult if we would let the breakaway go, but for the moment we are still chasing hard. Even though there's only 2 riders off the front, now 1 rider, now no riders off the front. 150k to go, so it's not like it's one of those short stages and we're down to the last 60-70k already, so it's full attack throughout. But it continues to be a very difficult stage. Riders are out the back already. Fatigue is setting in pretty quickly for our riders. Now we set up. All of a sudden the pace has lifted just a bit, and we are already starting to recover. It looks like we're going to be okay, which will set up, in theory, as long as there's no crashes or chaos, set up a simple punchy finish, not a sprint finish, short punchy finish. This stage has not been easy. There's been a heavy push throughout the stage, and we did get, with a slight gentle downhill slope, we slowly recovered, but it's been a high tempo throughout. So as we hit this climb, It's definitely doing damage to my riders, but we're not dropping back too fast. We're okay through there, and that does set up that finishing climb. 30k left, 90 left in the peloton, and again we do get a little bit of recovery here, so we'll be set for a punchy finish. Waiting until we get 10k to go to try to get the team out front and in position. Wang has made it out front, but trying to get the rest of the team there to join him is a little complicated at the moment, but I think we'll get there soon enough. There we go. Shui is actually the one who's supposed to be next. Finally, he starts to come through, and there is the team now in position. Have to get him through, but right now we are not finding a way to get clear. 4k to go. Wang has recovered just a little bit, so that's good. On to Abdullah. Oh, and Abdullah gets swept up. Shui, get out of our way. Follow. On to the base of the climb. Gels for everybody. It's just 1k to go. Abdullah attacking. Wang is blocking Zipinati. We're coming up way too late on this one. Way too late. We're not going to get a stage here. Urging at the front. Sobrero, who sits third overall. Yay. Are we back? Are we down a spot? Maybe. Maybe.
This stage was a real strength sapper.
Final stage, final challenge. Podium definitely seems likely at this point. We've just got to handle what's ahead of us here. And the first thing is, I think it's time we speed up a little bit. Tempo has been high throughout the day, so it's definitely not a given that we are going to get through this one unscathed. The first rider's already out the back of the peloton, and we're seeing little splits here and there. But we are setting this one up primarily as a sprint opportunity. It is considered cobbled, but we're going to see why here in just a moment. And as we round the corner, that's it right there. And there's the finish line. 500 meters, 1-star cobbles, but it's on the sprint to the finish. So you definitely don't want to get caught going too early. It's also pretty technical through that area. And that little climb that we hit, we're going to hit that again here pretty soon. And we are seeing some attacks, but the current breakaway has been caught once again. We're going to speed things up. Cluckers with the withdrawal. He was in the top 10, I believe. It's a double climb, so that was the first one. Now we hit the second one. There you go. It's 3K overall, 3.4%, but it's up, down, and then up. Definitely steeper on the second portion, or longer on the second portion. Steeper on the first, longer on the second. One more time of doing that on our way to the finish. We now have 22k to go, and here comes the next wave of attacks. So at some point, I think we're going to want to try to help control this, like right about now. I had a small vision of trying to go for bonus seconds at the intermediate sprint, but there's too many guys that are up there right now already trying to control this thing with as long as we have left to go. There's that attack, and they didn't really attack it, did they? But they were still ahead, so they got the seconds. That's already done. That's already behind us. Now we just focus on the real thing. Wang, I'm going to let Wang just keep riding a little bit longer here. We still have 15k to go, and we got one guy just a little ahead of us. He's still setting a decent tempo for a while. We'll use him up for a bit and prepare our next rider. So they are starting to kind of come up on us here, so we're going to want to get going again, especially before the climb. No breakaway now. 5k from the top. Okay, I think it's time to get moving. Wang, well done. 10k from the finish. Starting to speed up as we go to climb. Good news is all of these guys are climbers, not sprinters, so this part's going to be fairly easy for us. Shui gets over the first. Keep that pressure on as we push through the second, and before anybody else can come up on us, let's get Shui out of the way and on to Zipinati, and that's 4 riders. One last hill push, and then I'd love to see a split here, but it's looking like that might not happen. Pick up some KOM points, but not enough to amount to anything. Tails perfectly placed. Perfectly placed here. 4.3. Let's go, Abdullah. Let's go. Banani, go ahead and get onto the back. 3.2. Abdullah sprinting, soft sprinting. Can you actually go back and sprint, please? 2.5. Panamar now leading out Haglund. It's a little early for all of this, especially when we still have the zone to go, and Haglund is not on Panamar's wheel. Of course he's not. So no win today, no win overall. Fretton, Bosch, Van den Bosch, Kajicum, our target. Got a dossier open on the Filipino there, Kajicum. He takes third on the stage. But that's going to be enough to hang on to second in the overall. So not a double win, but we didn't need any more wins at this point. It's going to look pretty dang good for our sponsors, though, getting that top 3. And that rating is up to a 75 now. We have achieved 3 sponsorship. Well, we came up just short. We got 11th on that first one. We definitely achieved the last 2, though. And we even got a plus on this one, as we got the result of a top 3. So a super success, a success, and a partial success. Then, down below, the season objective is already a success with 14 victories on the year. We have picked up, I think, about 4 individual successes for those whole national championship where we are the only rider and they win the time trial and they win the road race. So we've picked up 4 that way, but we've gotten like 10 proper victories. 9 of those have been in the lower levels, but it's been quick simming, and that's something that didn't happen ever before. Before this season, we had never had a victory through quick sim. So we are quality for Continental now. We're too good for Continental. We're close to that Continental Pro. Finished top 0 in the team rankings. Sucks that they didn't give us a real objective on that one. But we've got 3 left. Slovenia is soon. Canada after that. Top 20 for that next one should be pretty easy, but at this point, I mean, we've got a good solid evaluation, and that should give us a boost. But in the world of prospecting, our first one's already come and gone. It was for ever so slightly less than what we're making now, but that happened right at the very, very beginning of the season when that offer initially was kind of kicked out, and we had only had 1 objective at that point, and we took 11th. Faso Bartolo, looking at our evaluation the way it was, is 933k, which is 10k more than we're making right now. 868 is less than what we're making, but a double sponsor. We have another one that's building towards giving us an offer, and Yeti Racing came in and offered us exactly what we're making after just 2 objectives. So 1 partial success and 1 success. Now we're building on that and going beyond that, but they've already given us an offer, and I have 2 days to accept, and I'm not going to accept the same money we were already making. They really shouldn't have come in that early in the year and offered that. That would be 3 years in a row of the exact same money, and that's not going to help us grow. That is not going to help us grow. We are going to have to. I mean, look at our visibility. Our visibility ranking is super high. We should be getting bigger, better offers than this, and at this point we're going to have to wait for the others. But the big question is, 2 Italian and a French offers coming in? That's not in our snowball. The staff has been going to the snowball, but I'm starting to wonder if I should take a sponsor in the snowball. But then again, Sweden's not in the snowball either, so we've been taking that every year. I suppose I'm free to choose whatever sponsor comes along that I want, and I do think we're going to get a bigger offer, even if it's short of $1 million. If it's 980, that 50,000 is going to go a long ways to helping us out. We already have about a neutral balance over the course of this season, where we're actually losing money, but the prize winnings are kind of balancing it out for us. There's going to be a limitation, and we've got some big names to sign, bigger contracts to sign with guys that aren't too interested in joining our team. So we're going to have to overpay, and if we're going to have to overpay, we've got to have some money. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.